get my elbow over. Foster, get out of my way, man. There we go.
We got Foster joining us.
Foster
today.
the Moose right here. And this is who sits in our studio when I'm on the air. That's Foster the Moose. Created by a local Georgetown, Ontario, Canada artist that I can't name. But what did you say it was?
Well, the sign on it is Pippi's Creations.
Pippi's Creations.
Pippi, and on the bottom it
Maybe,
says Pippi.
Maybe that can narrow it down. But Foster's been with me for many years. And he decided he would drop in.
Join us today.
So
Nothing wrong with that.
So there you go, Foster.
I think it's awesome. I love it.
I think Foster.
It's very cool, actually. Yeah.
Foster. I love Foster. I mean, Foster and I have been together since we met at the Timmy's over here on Mountain View in Georgetown many years ago. I was in front there enjoying a chocolate glazed, and he come out with an apple fritter, and we've been friends ever since. The great Canadian connection. Big Daddy and Foster the Moose. There you go.
Welcome once again, everybody. As he said, Big Daddy Russ Horton, myself, Lee Lake, and Leah Lywood, to our Air Radio News program, where we drops a little bit of news in there, but it's mostly for trivia. Leah's Trivia.
Leah's Trivia.
So
rock and roll, and I've got my Acton dinner jacket on, of course. And what's yours?
Matches the
Chevrolet. He's got a nice old Chevrolet.
I won this.
Swag
I won this at the car show in Acton last year. So
right on.
Very cool.
All right, let's have a look at some of the. First we'll tell you that it's Yukon Travel this week that we're sponsoring. Yukon's awesome.
Yes.
If you're an outdoors person, there's more to Yukon than Whitehorse and Dawson City.
True.
And of course, Foster, he was born in the Yukon, so he knows all about it. U.S. tracking suspected the Chinese surveillance balloon.
I know, eh?
What the hell is all that about now? What the hell is going on with the world?
And they're using a balloon?
Yeah, balloon. It's not hidden well. It's a big round balloon.
Yeah,
you'd figure it'd be a little stick or something, but no, it's a big balloon. So I don't understand that. Okay, and historic deep freeze, of course, is hitting the U.S. Northeast, the Canadian, the entire country apparently, and extreme cold warnings, Arctic chills in the eastern provinces. We are freezing here.
They are freezing
at the moment, but it's Canada. And we're used to it.
I would hope so.
This is the kind of stuff we start, putting some pants on instead of wearing the shorts. You know what I mean?
There's always that one guy wearing shorts.
Yeah. What else is going on there?
Australia. This is kind of bizarre. Is removing their monarchy from the banknotes.
It's the beginning of the end, buddy. I told you.
I think so. Yeah. Ahead of the Super Bowl coming up, Philadelphia Eagles player was charged with rape. And Tom Brady says, for good, he's retiring after 23 seasons in the NFL.
And how many times did the Who retire?
Yeah, exactly.
How many times are you going to do it? He's still a fairly young guy. He might be back, but let's hope this is the end of it.
Yeah.
But, and then we can remember him as the greatest quarterback that ever lived. Mm-hmm. And he is. His numbers
don't lie.
I mean, what's wrong?
No different than Gretzky being the best hockey player.
And everybody's going, poor Brady, he's lost his marriage and everything else. He's doing okay, folks. He's got lots of money in the bank. He's a good-looking guy. He'll do fine.
He'll be just dandy.
There you go. Dr. Phil, the talk show, ending after 21 seasons.
Wow.
Leah was crying about that on the phone the other night. She couldn't believe that Dr. Phil's not going to be there for her anymore. I like that show. I think he's a pretty cool guy.
I couldn't tell you if I've watched one or not.
Dr. Phil was calling me.
Yeah. What else? What's going on with Ozzy?
Yeah, he's been canceling all his shows. He's too physically weak to tour. He's not well. He's been in and out of hospital now for, I don't know, the last several months. I know that.
Sorry to hear that.
So, rest up, Ozzy. And, if people don't understand that he's canceling the shows for this, health reasons, well, you're an idiot. Anyway, newly discovered green comet comes close to Earth, and I heard you could actually, with even a set of binoculars, you could see it.
And it's green, like the Green Lanterns in the air.
Sad news, too. Laverne and Shirley actress Cindy Williams, she passed away at the age of 75.
I had a gigantic crush on her, and you probably did, too.
Most people did.
Most guys did.
Yeah.
I remember her in American Graffiti, and the car race scene there where she's racing with Richard. It's just amazing. Such a sad, and she's just a lovely lady. Priscilla Presley, she's contesting the validity of Lisa Marie's will. Apparently, she doesn't agree with us.
I guess she's not in it.
Yeah, Lisa Loring, the original Wednesday Addams Family actress, she died, 64. A lot of people died last week.
Yeah, legend Bobby Hall at the age of 84. Longtime hockey player. Everybody knows Bobby Hall.
Well, and I have to say this, and I'm not going to dwell on it. He was one of my heroes, great hockey player. But there's a side to Bobby Hall that people don't know, of wife abuse.
Yep.
And he had problems with the police. He was a bit of a racist, which are not things that you remember well. He wasn't a nice man, and I heard that from many people.
Many people.
But I have to say this, God rest his soul.
Absolutely.
He was one of my heroes when I was a kid, Bobby Hall. I mean, the Golden Jet, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The guy's a rock star, no doubt about it. So it's very sad, the whole thing is sad. But Chicago Blackhawks, they had a tribute to him, so God bless him. God bless him. Yeah. Where are we now? I'm getting all misty-eyed here because Bobby Hall was one of my heroes. Missing radioactive capsule found in Australia. Now, what are these idiots doing? They throw a piece of radioactive material in the back of a truck and drive it down the road. Well, we'll just dump this off. Just throw it in the back. Oh, it's bounced out. Well, it's radioactive, buddy. Shouldn't it have been in a case or something?
They have rednecks there too,
just like here, right?
Just like here in the States.
Yeah. I thought they were one of us. I thought they were one of us. Yeah.
This story cropping up too. Marilyn Manson accused of raping an underage girl in a terrible lawsuit going on.
I haven't heard too much good stuff about that guy.
Yeah, it just and again, why don't we hear about this stuff when it happens? It's to bring it up. I don't know. It's
Super Bowl 57, Kansas City Chiefs and Philadelphia Eagles. They're set for the NFL championship. I'm going to take the Eagles. What about you?
No, I'm going to take Mahone with Kansas City.
Okay, what about you, Leah? She doesn't care. Do you care?
I don't have time.
She hasn't got a clue what we're talking about.
No.
She's a gal.
Excuse me.
See, I'm getting her going here. I'm setting the fire. And finally, oh God,
sad story,
former Mississauga, Ontario Mayor Hazel McCallion dies, 101 years old.
Yeah.
God bless her. And I have a story. I met her. I used to do some stuff with the local Mississauga station, Streetsville Derbies, years ago. She actually fired pucks at me when I was in my early 20s. I was doing some kind of swag radio promotion where I was the goalie. I was Hanrahan, by the way, in net.
Yeah.
And there, I'm expecting, she come up and fired some good ones that just whisked my ear there, She said, I'm a farmer's wife, son. She says, I know how to play hockey. I said, yes, and I gave her a big hug.
I'm not surprised at that. And she did a lot with a lot of the Mississauga Ice Dogs and all of that stuff. And
she was the mother of Mississauga. She was the mother of everything.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have a skyline in Mississauga without Hazel McCallion.
She was for a while, too, the longest running mayor in Canadian history until Mayor Gord Krantz out of Milton took that.
Yeah, Mayor Krantz, he's been at it for a long time.
He is now the longest standing mayor in Canada.
He's a good man.
Great guy.
I think Rick was on his way too.
He was.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. No,
well, Rick deserves a rest. He worked some hard. He was our local mayor, by the way.
But I've done a lot of events with Gord Krantz and his crew and his team. An awesome bunch of people.
Just totally professional and
very much so, and
community-loving people,
and a lot of fun too. So
we have to wrap up the news quickly here because we want to get on to Leah's trivia. Of course, that Tyree Nichols police beating in Memphis was disgusting. Did you see the video?
Oh yeah.
Oh, they laid the boots to him.
Yeah, literally.
The guy was running away. Oh yeah, he was running away. Yeah, because you guys were beating the shit out of him. Yeah. That's why he was running away.
Too.
And the thing that kills me on this one is all of them were black cops.
Yeah.
All of them. There wasn't one white cop in there.
Just unbelievable. I couldn't believe, I couldn't believe the video. I just watched it with my mouth open going, I can't believe this is actually happening. And they're doing this in the middle of a street where everyone's filming it. It's just...
And that's the thing today is these cops, how do you not realize everybody has a camera now?
Yeah.
Everybody.
Well, and I mean, they even had their own cameras on that they were wearing.
Yeah.
They caught a lot of it. So it didn't matter if there was anyone there or not.
That's why Karen has
Right?
become so famous. Karen, because there's Karens everywhere, male
And
and female.
I feel sorry for women that are Karens or Chads, because there are some of them that have said, listen, people, like, this is my name. Can you not think of another term?
Who invented that, Karen?
I don't know. It was got all through COVID that started.
Yeah. Remember? Yeah. All right, let's get to some rock and roll
Leah's
trivia. You want me to
trivia.
start off?
Go for
I'll
it.
start off. Okay. Was that Foster? Stop swearing, Foster.
Well,
He's swearing again. All right. During the 1960s, James Brown treated his band members like an army, imposing fines for lateness, scruffy costumes, and poor playing. I would imagine he would have cracked a whip.
oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He, from what I heard, he was brutal in rehearsals.
Was he?
Just brutal.
He was brutal in everything in life.
Well, that too.
But I love James Brown, though.
Oh God,
So
yeah.
I mean, I feel good to hear some of his old stuff. My favorite song by him is Living in America. I just think that kicks ass. And he came back in the 80s and reinvented himself.
Pretty much, and did a lot of movies, cameos on movies and stuff in that era, right? This one, I love this one. I wanted to take this one myself because I've got another quote that David Lee Roth says, lead singer of Van Halen. He was quoted saying, "I used to have a drug problem, but now I can afford it."
Yeah.
And I saw him in an interview. God, it's got to be 20 years ago. And she asked him. She says, "Well," because he was always known as a ladies' man.
Yeah.
So she said,
Good-looking dude. Yeah.
have you ever thought about starting a family? And he goes, "Oh, I'm sure I've started a few here or there."
I remember that one
Yeah,
too.
it's
About it, but yeah.
But it's I'm a huge Van Halen fan. They were one of my. It was my first album. Was
My
a Van
favorite
Halen album.
Van Halen song is "You Really Got Me," and they covered.
They did that so well.
I'm sorry, I love the Kinks. Don't get me wrong, but the Van Halen version just cracks it.
Oh
you know what I
God,
mean?
yeah.
That takes it to a whole new level.
That's when you hear "Come On" and the foot on the gas pedal goes down.
And the volume knob goes
Yeah.
to the right, baby. All right. Sad news this
day.
week in 1959. How can you ignore this?
No.
It's the biggest. Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and J.P. the Big Bopper Richardson are killed in a plane crash. Don McLean would call it the day the music died in his 1971 hit American Pie. The musicians were heading to Fargo, North Dakota on a small private plane leaving Clear Lake, Iowa, where they had performed as part of the 24-city Winter Dance Party tour. And I have that over there, don't I, on the wall? I think one of those posters.
I think so.
They had been traveling by bus, but it got so cold that Buddy chartered the plane, a single-engined Beechcraft Bonanza, and shortly after takeoff, the plane goes down. Snowing, poor visibility, and very cold night in February back in 1959. And indeed, we lost three greats right there.
Yeah.
And I don't know about the Big Bopper. He was more of a DJ kind of
He was a showman.
novelty guy.
He was he was the MC
Yeah.
and all that.
But
right?
I think Buddy and Richie would carried on. I think those
God,
two
yeah.
would have, especially Buddy Holly. I
My-
mean, he was already on his way to being a superstar.
one of my
He
heroes.
was. Yeah. One of the Beatles heroes, too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. It's who he influenced is what we're listening to today.
right.
Still, if you think about it.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see what he was putting out
Exactly.
in later years, as he got
Exactly.
older.
1967 this week, producer Joe Meek shot his landlady Violet Shenton, I guess it is,
Yep.
and then shot himself in his flat in London. Meek produced the Tornadoes hit Telstar, the first number one by the U.S. Number one in the U.S. by a British group. Meek was interested in spirituality and often attended seances. At one such meeting in '58, he was warned that Buddy Holly would die on February 3rd. Meek tried to find Holly when he was in London and warn him, but failed on his mission, and Holly died on this day.
God,
So-
that really happened, eh? That
And that's
Joe
not
Meek-
the first time I've seen or heard of that. It was a
Joe
real
Meek
one.
actually got a message from the other side that Buddy Holly was going to die. There's so many dimensions out there.
Oh, God, yeah.
It's incredible.
God, yeah.
1978, the TV movie Dead Man's Curve, the first to deal with a tragic Jan and Dean story, premieres at ABC. But our hero also got injured on Dead Man's Curve,
Yep.
Mel Blanc.
Mel
Of course,
Blanc.
He went in the hospital with that too. I'll do one more. That was a kind of a quickie. 1981, At the Who concert at the Rainbow Theatre in London, Pete Townsend drinks 4 bottles of brandy on stage, and instead of playing, mouths off to the crowd. His bandmates just keep playing without him, of course, but months later, Townsend gets treatment for his alcoholism, but he turns to drugs, and once again putting his life in danger. In early '82, he rehabs again and finally gets sober. Has he been sober since the '80s?
Yeah.
Because he was heading in the wrong direction, man. He was heading towards Keith Moon territory there.
It basically wasn't. It really went downhill when Keith died.
Yeah,
that was the thing.
That
was
blew him away, didn't it?
That was really, really hard on him. I know that. I remember this story. Eminem was forced to change his name from M&M, like the candies, to his full name, Eminem, in '95 after the manufacturers of M&M sweets threatened to sue him. And it just really didn't make any difference to me, but I can understand it in a way. A little bit of a cool tidbit here too. I'll take this one. Carl Wilson from the Beach Boys, his first job was a gas station attendant.
Isn't it weird when you look at the first jobs that people ever
That's
have?
why I like
right?
putting those in there, because a lot of people don't realize they didn't start as family people, like with family parents, and all of a sudden, they started picking up music. When writing the music, they were everyday people like the rest of us, and they had everyday jobs.
I think there was only one member of the Beach Boys that actually surfed.
Yeah,
I think it was more of an image that they wanted to portray more than anything else, which is a great image. I mean,
well, you think about it, they were kind of the boy band.
Well, their name
the
was
boy
Beach
bands
Boys.
of the
Exactly,
60s.
So they want to portray something along that line, right?
But when you listen to Good Vibrations, it's rock and roll classic. I mean, some of the stuff they had was incredible. A little bit of history. 1968. After cycling through a number of band names, including Bag of Nails and Navy Blue, Ian Anderson's group plays the Marquee Club in London as Jethro Tull, a name that sticks. Their agent suggested the name Jethro Tull. Do you know what Jethro Tull is? He was the inventor of the seed drill.
I did not know that.
Got nothing to do with rock and roll. It's just totally... I often wondered, who in the hell is Jethro Tull anyway? 1975, I'll do one more. Stevie Wonder's daughter, Aisha, is heard crying at the beginning of Isn't She Lovely? And she was born this week in history. So the beginning of, when you Isn't She Lovely by Stevie Wonder, the baby at the beginning and him talking when he says, shut up, baby. Remember? That's him talking to his daughter at the very beginning of that.
Cool.
God, Stevie Wonder was amazing.
Again, another thing I did not know.
There you go. It's a strange
This
one for you.
is a funny one. 2014, Skinny Puppy sent the U.S. government an invoice after finding out their music was used as a torture device in Guantanamo Bay. Despite the band's aggressive sound, they said they had never envisioned their music being used in such a way, and asked how they felt about their songs being used in a way in this detention camp. And singer Kevin Key replied, "Not too good. We never supported these types of scenarios because we make unsettling music we can see being used in a weird way, but this doesn't sit right with us." And
it's kind of weird.
I don't blame them. It's
kind of an insult to the band.
In a lot of ways, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But, you put the average person in there that doesn't like heavy rock. I mean, heavy rock is kind of a headbanging stuff. Not everyone's into that stuff.
Exactly.
And if you're older, especially, it's louder than rock and roll, and they have a following, but obviously used for torture. I don't know how would you take that? You know what I mean? Are you insulting me?
Basically, that's how I would take it as a musician. That's how I would take it. So
this is very cool. I like this one here. 2019, Marshmello performs a virtual concert inside the online game Fortnite that is seen by an estimated 10 million gamers. To pull it off,
Smart.
He is rigged to be, he's got a body motion suit on that transfers his movements to the screen, and it's the first large-scale integration of a concert within a video game. Isn't that ingenious?
Technology,
The images I
Marshmello.
posted, obviously, when I post these, I find photos that look really cool to what's going on.
Yeah.
I like
And it was
Marshmello's
really cool
music,
to see
too.
the image.
Yeah.
That,
I like his music, Marshmello. He's a local guy from Niagara Falls, I believe. I might be wrong, but I think I'm right.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Higher, the 1999 lead single off Creed's second studio album, seemed like a simple Christian rock ballad about a higher power. But lead singer Scott Stapp said that the hit inevitably helped Creed reach meteoric success was actually about the benefits of lucid dreaming. In 2000, Stapp told Sun magazine he'd been having recurring nightmare, and it delved into the practice of lucid dreaming and rid himself of it, and that's what Higher is about.
I thought it was about drugs all this time. Justin Timberlake was quoted as saying, "I met Madonna and she was so confident. To me, she's the sexiest woman on the planet." You don't hear too much bad stuff about Madonna, only from maybe Elton John and.
There's been the odd one here and there that I've heard
that,
some not very nice things.
Yeah, she's.
I give her kudos because whether people liked her or didn't, she didn't care. She was who she was.
Yeah.
She did what she did, and she made many firsts.
And
with what she
oh,
did.
yeah.
So,
And you know
what?
who-
Kudos to her.
You know who else I like is Lady Gaga. She's the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the same way.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah,
Just those two are like twins. They really are. And I love both their music. I mean, that first album Madonna was out was incredible.
It was a
How many
huge,
hits?
massive
like
hit.
5 or 6 hits off of one album.
One album. Yeah.
All right, so we have, I'll do one more. 1949, RCA introduces the 45 RPM record. It's 7 inches wide and plays at a faster speed than the traditional 33 1/3, providing better sound quality. The format takes off and the 45s become known as singles. And we all went to Sam the Record Man to get the Chum 30,
Stacks
didn't we?
of them.
Right there.
Stacks of them.
Right there. And I was
Full
always,
suitcases of
Oh yeah.
I was always pissed off when the new entries weren't there and I couldn't take them home.
1975, this is kind of cool. For her 7th birthday, Lisa Marie Presley meets her favorite singer, and guess who? It's Elton John. A gift arranged by her father, and of course, Elton would show up for that, I would think.
I would think so. When the king asks you.
And following that, Lisa Marie attended many events, and there's many stories and whatnot out there of the many times she was in the company of Elton John.
Right.
She was, fully grown.
Yeah. Oh, she
It carried on.
She was a fan for the rest of her life. So
Yeah.
This is a twisted one. Wayne Fontana, famous for fronting Wayne Fontana and the Mindbenders, in 2007, he pours gasoline on the car of a bailiff sent to collect a debt and sets the vehicle on fire. Way to go, Wayne. At his hearing in November, Fontana shows up dressed as Lady Justice, complete with sword and scales. The judge is not amused, sentencing him to 11 months in prison and stating he has come dressed as a fool and he wants to act like a fool. I hope they give him a prison uniform at Nottingham Prison to keep him warm. There you go, Wayne Fontana.
You need to see the photo too.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Did you posted the photo on
It's on
Facebook?
that.
It's on our platforms. There you go, folks.
Yeah.
Go look for Wayne
Oh, yeah.
Fontana's
It's
picture.
hilarious.
And what, when he went to court, you mean?
Yeah, he was dressed almost like a Roman in like a toga, it looked like, with the sword, short skirt type toga.
Oh, my God,
yeah.
That's
Really?
hilarious.
Yeah, it was funny.
Oh my God. 2007, forced to do a press conference to promote his upcoming Super Bowl halftime show, he replied, "There was just one problem. I don't do interviews." Prince explained to the halftime show producers he was notoriously wary of the media. And Prince answers the first question. "Prince, how do you feel about performing?" At which point he was cut off by a loud guitar riff. Prince then launched into a cover of Chuck Berry classics like Johnny B. Good and turns the event into a concert, leaving the reporters stunned. Exactly what Prince would perform for the media had remained a secret even to the members of his
He
band.
didn't do too many interviews. You see the odd one on
Very
YouTube,
rare.
maybe. But he stayed pretty low key.
He didn't trust them, and for good reason.
He was what a great musician he was.
Oh.
I mean, there's somebody that's gone way before his time. 1969, of course, the Beatles rocked the rooftop. The Beatles staged their famous rooftop concert on the roof of Apple Records in London. After performing a few songs, including "Get Back" and "Don't Let Me Down," the police shut down shut them down as the large crowd gathers. It is the Beatles' last public performance, but we didn't know it. Maybe if the businessmen down below knew they were eavesdropping on the end of an era, they wouldn't have complained about the racket interrupting their lunch break.
Absolutely.
But and there's so many stories about that. But that was the time when the Beatles were really at each other's throats too. They were just tearing each other apart, and it wasn't good. That was one of the few lighter things that happened at the end of the Beatles. There was that rooftop thing, and that's iconic now when you think about it. Yeah.
And I forget who it was now. They had on keyboards periodically throughout that concert.
Yeah.
Another famous name, and it escapes me, but there was somebody else.
It's not Billy Preston. He did play with them, but I don't think he was on the roof. Now I'm going to have to go look that up now. You know, you got that. You got that worm in my ear now, and there we go.
Yeah,
she started
he
getting
did,
it
and
again.
I can't remember. Sorry, but
Who played it? Who played on
there
that?
was somebody who
remember.
played on the keyboards.
We'll figure it out.
We'll try and figure it out for next week.
Yeah.
Another tidbit here. Joey Strummer from The Clash in '76 was quoted, "The hippie movement was a failure. All hippies around now just represent complete apathy." Interesting quote there from him. Also, I'll do this next one. Nick Rhodes of Duran Duran first concert was Gary Glitter at Birmingham Hall back in 1972.
Joe Perry of Aerosmith, his first job was an ice cream salesman. And a little bit of history and trivia. There, in 1961 this week, the Shirelles became the first all-girl black group to have the #1 song on the U.S. chart when "Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow" reached the top. The song peaked at number 4 in the UK. And in 1971, Janis Joplin released her most successful single, "Me and Bobby McGee," posthumously, as she had died the previous October of an overdose. The song was written by Chris Christopherson and Fred Foster, originally performed by Roger Miller, of course. I didn't know that Roger performed that before she did.
And another member of the 27 Club, they call it. 1972, British soldiers opened fire on 26 unarmed civilians during a peaceful protest in March in Derry, Northern Ireland, resulting in 14 deaths. And Bloody Sunday, where it was. McCartney was to write his protest song, "Give Ireland Back to the Irish," and it ended up coming out on the Wings debut single. And within 24 hours of Bloody Sunday, when 13 Catholics were killed by British paratroopers, this also gives rise to the U2 song "Sunday Bloody Sunday."
Yeah, influenced rock and roll, isn't it? Twice. 1975, the Bee Gees began recording "Jive Talkin'," which became their second U.S. chart topper and #5 UK hit. Wait for this one. Barry Gibb said the inspiration for the song came when his wife commented on the sound their car made whilst crossing a bridge over Biscayne Bay into Miami. She noted, "It's our drive talking." That's how it.
That's interesting. I
Well, you know that.
Yeah. Well,
Exactly.
I put that on at the Legion, and man, they get up and get going to that one. So, 2013, Mick Jagger was named the most stylish rock star of all time by lifestyle website Complex. Jagger led the top 50 list ahead of Prince, David Bowie, Kurt Cobain, Sid Vicious, and Keith Richards. Complex stated, even today, he still wears silk scarves and suits with a more rakish appeal than most men, and he's pushing 70, and he's now actually 79.
Yeah, he's 79.
80, yeah.
Hard to believe that he's almost 80. And talking about the Stones, Charlie Watts of the Stones was quoted, "Take it from me that most of those groupie stories are just fantasies." And a little bit of history here for January the 27th, 1971. David Bowie arrives in the United States for the first time, not to perform as he couldn't play live because of the work permit restrictions, but he did a series of interviews in which he created a little bit of a stir because he wore a skirt, a dress.
That was quite the era for Mr. Bowie.
It was.
He freaked a lot of people out because every time you saw him, he looked totally different. You know, he was doing something different, something interesting.
Wow.
1973, British glam rock group Sweet appeared at the Grand Hall in How are we saying that?
Kilmarnock.
Kilmarnock.
Laddie.
Kilmarnock. In Scotland, and were driven off stage by a barrage of bottles. The incident appeared in their song Ballroom Blitz, but went on to reach number 1 in Canada, number 2 in the UK, and in the Australian chart, and number 5 on the US Billboard Hot 100. And just love that song.
I think about you every time I hear it because of the drumming at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Ballroom Blitz. So that's how. So Ballroom Blitz.
Are you ready, Steve?
It's a real story. It really happened to them.
Yeah.
In 1998, James Brown was charged with possession of marijuana, an unlawful use of a firearm. After police were called to his South Carolina home, Brown later claimed that the drugs were used to help his eyesight. Kind of like that one.
I have glaucoma, man.
Wolfman Jack, in his book, back when he was on that big 500,000 watt station in Mexico, said that James come down and he wanted to climb the tower just for fun. And he climbed the tower, split his pants coming back down. Stuff like that.
Well, yeah, because
Just
James
crazy
Brown
wild.
always had these tight.
Oh, God, yeah.
His clothes were always skin tight.
How he could move, how he could dance the way he did.
I'm not surprised.
How are we doing for time anyway? I have no idea. I haven't even been watching. Maybe 30 minutes? 30?
Yeah.
So that's the rock and roll trivia for this week from Leah. And it was nice having Foster here,
Yeah.
wasn't it? And
It's a solid little unit.
yeah, he is. He's a good boy. Been with his dad for a long time. And we're brought to you by Joe's Marshmallow Bananas and Joe's Chocolate-Covered Jujubes this week. And to make your mouth water, we'll give the folks a little bit of a sign there. These are our favorites.
There we go. Foster can hold that one.
Foster. Now you leave them alone, buddy. Keep his mouth. So now, don't forget our radio stations. We're there 24/7. We have FM 108.ca, Canada's oldie station.
Yep.
50s, 60s, 70s. We have Radio PTA, our freeform national station, where we play everything from the 60s to today. It's a music lovers station.
Absolutely.
Huge playlist. And of course, we have a local station, Halton Hills Online. And we have Party Dog Radio with Mike Devine, if you're into dance music and funky stuff.
And we got our favorite friend, Mr. Don Cherry.
Don Cherry, of course, is heard each and every day, almost 6 days a week, right here on the Air Radio Network. He's heard on Mondays on Party Dog at 6 o'clock Eastern. He's heard on FM 108, Friday and Sunday evenings. He's on, and then we're so happy to have him.
Absolutely. The Dynamite, we're the first media form he's got a platform on. That's
yes, exactly, and he's on all of our stations, and we're so happy that he is. Because Don tells the stories the way Don Cherry tells the stories.
Nobody tells them like
And
Don.
the thing I love about Tim and his daughter, who were on there with him, is they dig the stories out of him. Hey, Dad, you remember what happened? And then you can just see Don say, oh, yeah, I remember that. And what happened to that? Because he's sitting there in his house coat with a coffee on Sunday with his kids, just talking around the...
Reminiscing, really.
Just reminiscing. He hasn't got a big suit on. He doesn't have to say what's the problem. He's
Loosey Goosey.
Don Cherry's Loosey Goosey.
There we go.
The Loosey Goosey Hour with Don Cherry and Big Daddy and everybody else here. Because we're
Fits
on the
right
radio.
into us.
That's right. But it's and we see our numbers are going up, and we're going to get into TikTok and do some very strange stuff. I said, have you seen TikTok though?
Oh God, yeah.
I didn't know it was owned by the Chinese government though. I didn't know that. They are. So is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know anymore.
That's like saying you're normal. What's your normal? Because your normal is not my normal.
Yeah.
What's normal?
Yeah.
Well, I gotta admit,
Right?
as an old geezer from Facebook, I was over on TikTok and I just don't understand it. I mean, it's a lot of videos about nothing.
Oh yeah.
But we're going to put something on our
But
videos.
you know what? It's funny, but I enjoy it. You know why? Because
You
everything
enjoy
else
what?
has always got a meaning or something. There's always something, whereas the majority of TikTok, it's exactly that.
It's just everyday
in that
life.
Moment, whatever's funny.
Yeah.
And it's things that don't even mean anything. They're just looking for numbers. And it's not meant to be anything.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
Well, I'm going to have a bra and panties on one of the videos. I know that. But
Is it going to be a thong
I'm not sure.
or a bikini?
I'm not sure. You'll have to help me. We'll go shopping. We'll go
Okay.
shopping.
All right.
I don't know what he's wearing. Well, we'll get him on one.
I'll do the toga thing.
You can do the toga. You can do
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We love all our viewers. And like you say, we're growing and growing, getting better numbers. And yeah, check out our radio stations and just enjoy your week. And we will love to see everybody back next week.
Absolutely. And don't forget that Halton Hills, Ontario is Canada's hometown. And we're very proud to be Canada's hometown, the home of the Air Radio Network. Brought to you by TravelYukon.com this week. You have to go to Dawson City if you go to Yukon, because it's like walking back in time.
Big time.
I mean, they don't even pave their downtown streets. It's like the old West.
Pretty much.
It is. It's very cool. Very cool. So TravelYukon.com. Thank you for being a sponsor this week. And Joe's, thank you for the amazing marshmallow bananas and the chocolate-covered jujubes. Take it away.
Big Daddy Russ Orton, I'm Lee Lakin. Leah Lywood, have yourself a great week. Be safe out there. And Foster says, don't drink and drive.
That's right.
We'll catch you next week.
You know, Foster's been swearing lately when I bring him on shows. I'm going to have to take him in the back room and have a talk to him.